Can I get you to summarize, perhaps, just quickly what it is you're seeing in the country?
Well, this out here is like anarchy. But anyways, yeah, I'm seeing hope. It doesn't sound like it right now, but there is hope after all these years, because I've been writing for many years, trying to wake parents up for many years, and parents are awakening to what's going on with their children. Many times it means their child coming home and deciding, telling the parent, hey, I'm now transgender and you have to help me change my sex, my gender. And parents finally go, wait a minute, this morning you were a girl, now you want to be a boy, or vice versa. And parents are starting to go, there's something wrong with this.
Alberta got a ruling, and now we'll have all over Canada.
You don't have a ruling.
We'll see.
No, you won't.
We'll see.
It's against the
Our
law,
Premier
Lisa.
got 90%
It's against the law.
support.
Human rights subsidies. This is called showboating. This is called showboating.
All the hypocrisy she's acting now.
And not all parents, a lot of them are still caving because the psychological and medical associations have caved to the whole idea of gender affirmation. They've been forced from their associations. If they don't agree, they are not, they lose their license, right? Look at Dr. Peterson. So yeah, that's in the past. I think what we're going to see is more and more parents starting and continuing to push back. And we need to push back because we need to help our kids.
Protect trans kids!
What would be the implications if we allowed the path forward in the sex? Yeah.
Oh, that breaks my heart to even talk about. These are children. We're talking about 6 and 7-year-olds, being taught all kinds of different sexual experiences, expressions, behaviors, and that they can be in a different body, they can be a different sex, which is an absolute impossibility. Absolutely impossible. And then, if they continue and decide to socially transition, their parents don't have to be told, number one. Then they can go on hormones and puberty blockers at early ages, as early as 10, and their bodies are transformed forever if they continue down that path, and then they mutilate their bodies. And doctors are willingly doing this, mutilating children's bodies. Who would ever have thought 20 years ago that doctors would be lining up to take girls' breasts off? Like, this is sick.
About science and the truth about human beings. That's why you're not under. You are
not under 18.
What do you mean not under 18?
Can they drive under?
What does that have to do with anything? They can still learn about driving under 18, can't they? They can learn about driving under 18, can't they? We don't keep that a secret from them just because they can't drive. Nobody in schools is changing anybody.
Neither do you guys.
Okay, so nice argument, but it doesn't work for me. That argument's garbage.
Over
Okay?
indoctrination, you realize
Try harder.
So how does this move forward, given the fact that Danielle Smith, you can hear there's clearly a group of people who are totally against this.
They're fully against what Premier Smith is talking about and what she is legislating. But, I do feel sorry for them because they have believed lies. They've been fed a bunch of lies, and the lies they've been fed is that they can truly be the other sex, and that they can transform their body somehow and do this. And so the only path forward always is to tell the truth. To tell the truth. And we're seeing more and more of these young people detransition. My understanding is on Reddit there's about 17,000, there's probably more now, that form a group of detransitioners. This is not just flash in the pan. Detransitioning is becoming a thing because these young people, when they hit their mid-20s, are going, my gender dysphoria hasn't changed. All of this stuff hasn't changed. What I've done to my body is mutilated, and it hasn't changed my problems because I'm no happier than I was when I was 12 years old. And so they're speaking out. The lawsuits are coming. They're already coming in UK. They're coming. There's over 1,000 lawsuits already pending against Tavistock, and there's more and more. There's some in the U.S. I know of one in Canada, but there will be more. There will be more.
So what is the basis of the lawsuits? Educate me on that. So
Medical malpractice from your physicians, psychologists. Like, this is malpractice. You cannot lie to people and get away with it. It's going to catch up, and it is going to catch up fast when it happens. I hope that there's lawsuits against the Board of Education. All of the whole education system is just absolutely complicit in all of this, and probably pushing it more than anyone. So.
Rights are human rights!
from a political standpoint, this is a powder keg for anybody who wants to take on the position that Premier Smith has taken on.
Absolutely.
And we have a federal election that's supposedly coming down the road this year, even next year. How do you feel it's going to play out on that end?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think Mr. Polyev wants to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And quite honestly, as Canadians, we need him to speak out for our children. He is saying a few things, but there's got to be more. And he needs to be supporting the premiers that are standing up for right and truth in other provinces, like Premier Higgs, Premier Lowe. I mean, they're beginning to get it. It's not far enough. The legislation doesn't go far enough to totally protect the children, but it's a beginning. It's a beginning. And we need those cracks before we can see the big crevice happen. So, yeah, it's a power keg for sure.
Let's see these people going into support of fascist transphobe.
Do you have kids?
I have 6 children, 12 grandchildren.
And how is this issue being played out in your family table?
So far, my family is doing pretty good, pretty well. But, you know, it's like this controversy hasn't created so much division, but COVID actually created controversy within our family. It's like all of these things are splitting families and communities, and this issue particularly is really hot and splitting families.
Because you were in the practice, can you actually pinpoint a time when in the calendar timeline, I would say this sort of all happened around this particular point? Was there a tipping point?
The transgender?
Yeah.
2013, when the new DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, came out, and they changed the diagnoses from gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria. That was the torch that lit the fire. Started before that, but that was the torch that lit the fire.
What was behind that? Do you recall?
Yeah, well, psychiatrists and psychologists that are pushing for this kind of thing. It's terrible.
We will not be deterred by bylaws threatening us with fines for exercising our goddamn rights.
Psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, researchers in Europe have got it. They're changing their tune. They are drawing back on all gender-affirming care before a child is 16 or 18. Like what Danielle Smith is doing is exactly what Sweden, Finland, the UK, and Netherlands, Australia, they're all doing. Denmark as well. They've all drawn back and now are saying what these children need is psychotherapy. Who would have thought?